In the 1998 film The Man in the Iron Mask, Leonardo DiCaprio plays dual roles as King Louis XIV and his identical twin brother Philippe, a prince hidden away in secret and forced to live in exile behind a literal iron mask. The film unfolds as the aging musketeers Athos, Porthos, Aramis, and D'Artagnan discover the king's cruelty and conspire to replace him with his long-lost brother, who possesses the heart and humility the throne demands. The film highlights the corrosive effects of power and unchecked ego. The rivalry between Louis and Philippe is not just a sibling feud, but a symbolic war between tyranny and virtue. Louis, the elder twin, was chosen to rule not because of merit but because of timing and secrecy. Philippe, cast into obscurity, embodies the idea of the exiled self, banished not only from court but from his own identity. The Iron Mask becomes a tool of erasure and dehumanization designed to suppress Philippe's individuality and potential. The masquerade becomes a metaphor for a ruling class whose authority is rooted in illusion, entitlement, and concealment. The Man in the Iron Mask is ultimately a symbol of social exile, the emotional and social isolation that arises when power trumps kinship, reveals the devastating distance between the brothers, hidden between layers of ambition, jealousy, and performance. Folks, there appears to be cracks in the House of Windsor. Last week, a headline surfaced about Prince William reportedly hiring his late mother, Princess Diana's divorce lawyers. This unleashed a flurry of online speculation about the future of the Wales' marriage. In a move that shocked the palace, the report suggested William was seeking independent legal counsel separate from the traditional royal channels. This led to a horde of online supporters of William and Kate rushing to defend their marriage, insisting that the headline was merely clickbait. They maintained there was nothing more to the story than William simply wanting to establish his own independent legal representation rather than continuing to use the same lawyers as Buckingham Palace. Nevertheless, the choice of his mother's divorce attorneys has raised eyebrows among royal commentators. Now, folks, you know good and well that had this been a headline about Harry hiring his mother's former divorce lawyer, the press would never stop talking about it. But it's William and Kate, so you know they have to maintain the fairy tale of the perfect marriage, when it's all too clear that these two have had enough. William looks like he's barely able to tolerate being in Kate's presence. Over the past few months, he's been looking very gaunt, like he's going through something, and who knows what's been eating at him. Whatever it is, it's definitely giving major guilt. And as for Kate, she seems to be thinking about, I don't know, Mystique? You know she envies her sister's life. She too would love to be able to take one vacation after another without the public constantly bringing up her sparse work engagements. Speaking of schedules, there doesn't seem to be much on hers. Of course, when anyone ventures to bring up her lack of engagements, the press swoops into her defense with their cancer capes. She's either just in remission or she's still recovering. It's never gonna end. One outlet even went so far as to refer to her as cancer-ravaged. Now, folks, whatever it was that happened last year, does Kate look like someone who is cancer-ravaged? Be honest. And you know, a year has now gone by since Kensington Palace released last March the now so-called bench video, where some digitized rendition of Kate made her big cancer announcement, with William nowhere in sight. Now, what was it she said again? Cancer had been present? Whatever that means. Her attempts to meld past and present in one statement made things look even more suspicious. which is saying a lot considering all the shenanigans we were treated to last year. And folks, you know how to tell when somebody's been lying about something? They want you to stop talking about it. Bringing it up reminds them of their deceit, and that makes them feel guilty. Kate's found herself in quite the dilemma. She does not want anyone talking about her cancer battle anymore, but at the same time, she has no problem using it to justify her frequent vacations or why she has such a light schedule. She rolled out that video back last September claiming she was cancer-free, then 4 months later announced very publicly that she is now in remission. Funny, I thought the remission came before being declared cancer-free. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. And now the press would like us to know that she's practically a saint and that the future of the monarchy depends on Kate, you know. But there's still that one annoying problem. Kate doesn't really want the job. Sure, she loves all the perks and prestige, but when it comes down to it, Kate is simply not interested. When observing Kate's interactions with the public on these official engagements, there is a distinctive awkwardness that is very difficult to ignore. Even after, what has it been now, 14 years? Kate still appears at times uncomfortable and out of her element. It's very easy to chalk it up to laziness, but I think it's actually deeper than that. Kate is not a people person. She looks uncomfortable in public because she doesn't care to be around people. She's naturally introverted. She doesn't really have any friends. I mean, can we talk about that? Kate does not seem to have anyone she is close to besides her mom. She would rather just be at home with her family, and by family I mean Carol and her kids. Lately, Pippa seems to have taken a distance as well. And folks, you know what I always found weird about last year? During the whole disappearance saga, Pippa said nothing. While Kensington Palace was trotting out body doubles and butchered Photoshop images, Pippa was frolicking on a beach, living her best life. And even after the cancer announcement, there was never any statement from Pippa. James said something, but not Pippa. I think there's a reason for that. Pippa knows Kate better than anyone else. She was her co-conspirator in Operation Get William Back, so she knows all the duplicitous lengths to which Kate will go to get what she wants. But not anymore. She's done being complicit in her sister's intrigues. She wants nothing to do with it. Now, William, on the other hand, I think he doesn't really mind being around people, but the thing with him is that he wants to be adored. He's just like his father in that way. He likes to think of himself as the most admired man on the planet. He wants to be a great statesman. Problem is, he has a popularity problem, and he knows it. He just doesn't have his brother's charisma. William and Kate, by the way, are on yet another vacation. I believe this is the third one this year? After a few perfunctory official appearances, Kate has once again retreated into the shadows. For Mother's Day, she posted this highly produced video similar to the one she did back in September. William seems to be posting more on Instagram as well, and it occurred to me that despite the obvious dysfunction in their marriage, never have I seen two people so perfectly matched for each other. They both loathe the idea of committing themselves to anything that might take time away from their pursuits of pleasure. They seem less interested in being monarchs than in curating an influencer-style Instagram monarchy, one that maintains a comfortable distance from the public while basking in the adoration of their most devoted followers. Many of their announcements now go directly to Instagram, circumventing the royal press rota. It seems they need to be reminded from time to time about that invisible contract, which makes Richard Eden's phrasing in his recent article all the more telling. So what did happen last year? Now, I think most people fall into a couple of camps. There's the vast majority who don't really follow these people very closely, so they're gonna take at face value whatever narrative is being pushed. Most people really believe that Kate had some sort of cancer. What type of cancer? Well, we may never know because she refused to disclose it. But at the same time, the press would like to have us believe that Kate caused so many people to go out and get screened. Now, folks, there are at least hundreds of different types of cancer out there. If Kate really wanted people to get themselves checked out, wouldn't she at least shed some light on the type of cancer she had? So, people with those symptoms would know what to look for, unless she didn't really have cancer at all, which is what I suspect, and I could be wrong. Charles, on the other hand, I have never questioned his diagnosis, mostly because prostate cancer for a man his age tends to be fairly common. Now, Kate may well have had a few pre-cancer cells show up on a pap, something that is very common, but certainly not on the level of being cancer-ravaged. And I think they saw an opportunity to use it as a cover for something else, something that they don't want to talk about. Maybe something shameful. I still maintain that the cancer story was just a smokescreen for probably an affair or some huge fight that led to their breaking up again. And I mean, it wouldn't be the first time they broke up, but it's something they feel they have to hide so as not to shatter the illusion of the picture-perfect royal couple, especially when it comes to the Sussexes. But the resilience of the Sussex marriage only reminds them of the failure of their own marriage and their own shortcomings. They continue to lie, hide, and deceive the public and conveniently call it privacy. Only problem is, they are public figures. I mean, we're talking about the next heads of state of the British government here. And they're acting like a couple of guilty school children who got caught playing hooky. The press plays along by showering them with syrupy praises and numerous insipid puff pieces. And of course, the simultaneous villainization of the Sussexes. Don't look over here, folks. Look over there. But Harry is used to it by now. You see, Harry knows more than anybody outside of the firm how they operate. And he said it numerous times. They use the lesser royals, namely the spares, to deflect any attention away from their own bad behavior. And that is exactly what the Centibale debacle and Africa Parks is all about. William, being the golden child, has a vested interest in tearing down his brother's legacy in order to build his own as a future king. And right now, his legacy isn't looking that impressive. His homeward bound initiative to end homelessness barely gets any traction in the press. It's hard to tell what kind of impact it has had because the only news about it is from either the palace or the press, which is one and the same. A couple weeks back, he was in Aberdeen posing alongside tenant farmers who are facing an alarming rate of suicide due to the increased cost of living. What is often left out of the narrative is that these tenant farmers are from William's duchy, which means they have to pay him rent. Well, no wonder they're so dissatisfied with their lives. Yet here's William cosplaying as some kind of hero that's here to save the day with yet another one of his initiatives that end up going nowhere. It's all just a performance. Just let me be done with this photo op so I can go watch my football match. Then there's his Earthshot Awards. The truth is, Earthshot has failed to make much of an impact. Much like Kate's early years project, it's just royal window dressing. William delegates most of his responsibilities to other people. then he'll show up to make a speech or to take a picture. Notice he's constantly trying to attach some celebrity name to Earthshot in an effort to boost its popularity. Now, the press likes to accuse Harry and Meghan of Hollywood clout chasing, but this man would trip over his own face to get in front of a camera standing next to a celebrity. And you know what he's going after next, right, folks? That's right. Invictus, the flagship charity founded by Prince Harry. When Harry first pitched the idea to William, he was told that there just wasn't any money. There simply wasn't any money for it. Folks, mark my words, William will try to go after Invictus next. And he has everyone behind him, Buckingham Palace and the press. This group of folks, the most luckiest people in the world due to accident of birth, are so steeped in their own mediocrity that the best they can ever hope to achieve is to try and ruin the reputation of anyone who does better than them. They know that nothing they do will ever create as much as an impact as Invictus has. And before that, the most impactful royal was Diana. And look what happened to her. And on top of that, they have to be reminded every day about Harry's famous wife, who keeps selling out products wherever she goes. One minute they're gloating that her show is a flop and that all her business ventures are a failure, and the next they're complaining that she's raking in the dough. Well, which is it? And of course, they love to attribute her success to her title, as though she was never successful prior to marrying into the family. And for those of you watching who really believe that she is just cashing in on her title, let me ask you something. If her title is so valuable, why haven't other royals been able to do the same? Including the Middletons, by the way. Being adjacent to royalty didn't seem to work out for them financially, and it's not like they didn't try. And let me play devil's advocate for a minute here. Now, what if she is using her title to make money? Well, so what? Are you saying that Harry and Meghan do not have a right to make a living? Oh, but she's a celebrity with a TV show. Okay, and? Meghan decided that what she wanted to do when she was a little girl was to be an actress. She could have chosen to be anything else, but this is what she wanted to do. So why are people surprised that she's in show business? She grew up on set with her dad as a lighting director, and she decided that was what she was going to do with her life. What is wrong with that? Did she need a title to land a major part in the hit show Suits? And the truth is, Harry had no money. He had a few inheritances lined up for him once he reached a certain age, but while he was a young adult, he had no money. He had to rely on his father for money, who was more concerned about providing for Camilla and her children. And it's so funny watching people's heads explode when this couple persists on succeeding despite everything that's been thrown at them. It's really a testament to the power of social media that the firm and their lackeys in the press have not succeeded in the high-tech lynching that they have been carrying out against this couple for years. Why do you think they're so mad about Harry's book? It's not so much what he wrote inside, it's the fact that it's been so successful. To this day, Spare remains unbroken in the Guinness Book of World Records for the number of copies sold for a nonfiction. Do you know how much of a bigger deal that is? Charles has had several books written about him. Jobson wrote one about Kate. I think William also has a few, but none has ever garnered as much interest as Spare. This is what keeps them up at night. They know that they will never rise above being barely average. And had it not been for their titles, they would be just like any other average working class person in Britain, struggling to get by to make ends meet. They've sicked the media on them, hired armies of social media loyalists, offered people money to smear them. They've tried everything, yet Harry and Meghan keep succeeding in spite of them. This drives William in particular nuts, so much so that he is willing to keep up the charade of a happy marriage. But in Kate, he found someone who was willing to put up with him at his worst behavior. They were both drinking buddies, and I don't think that changed after they got married. There are numerous reports of them having drunken fights. I don't think William was the only one drinking in the marriage. Kate was right there with him, but she gets the angelic treatment from the press, and I think that's because of Carol's influence. Carol's got some friends in the press. Now, it is very likely that we will hear anything about William and Kate's separating while Charles is still king. Last week, he was hospitalized for side effects due to his treatment for cancer, leading to chatter about William's ascension to the throne happening sooner rather than later. Now that puts Camilla in a very precarious position. There is no doubt that after Charles is gone, William, regardless of any alliances he may have formed now with Camilla for expedience, will show no mercy to his stepmother. It's been reported that Camilla is terrified of the prospect of William's ascension to the throne. But folks, Camilla Parker Bowles, turned queen, is not the sort of woman to go down without a fight. She knows what happened last December, and I have a feeling that if William tries to overstep his boundaries, there's going to be a steady drip, drip, drip of reports to the press, and she's making sure to gather all her acorns for the coming winter. It was reported a couple weeks back that Charles had purchased a stately home next to her Ray Mill house so that she would not have to be inconvenienced by the sight of the public. That's right, Charles, I want to slim down the monarchy Windsor, simply purchased a home next to Camilla's to remain empty, just so that his wife does not have to be offended by the sight of neighbors. And folks, I'm not too sure if Charles is thrilled at the prospect of William taking over the monarchy. Reports of William's alcoholism and hot-headedness are legion, and there are numerous accounts from insiders that state that Charles is scared of his older son. And observing their dynamic, it's not hard to see who submits to whom. And I think Charles has also had it with the Middletons. Despite what the press tells us, they are seen as a threat to the monarchy rather than an asset. Camilla, for one, has always been convinced that Kate is bad news, and there is no doubt in my mind that she believes Kate becoming queen consort will be the death blow to the British monarchy. The revelations in recent years about the Middletons' unseemly past has given Camilla many I told you so moments, and I believe Charles is now right on board. A few weeks back, the palace conspicuously left Kate out of celebration for International Women's Day. And let me tell you folks, the fans were not too happy. But folks, there's one thing that keeps this family together: their collective hatred for Harry and Meghan. And that's enough to keep the secrets buried for now. So I know this one is kind of long. I always say I'm gonna do a short video and then I end up getting carried away. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Do you think there's a divorce on the horizon for the Waleses? Or is it William lawyering up for something else? Anyway, thank you so much for the super thanks and all your support. I'll try to not wait so long to drop another video. I won't make it so long next time. Anyway, let me know what you think. Please hit the subscribe button if you like this content. And I'll catch you all in the next video.